Hi, this is Kim at Sew A Lot, and I'm here to show you how to square up a block, or how I square up a block. What I like to use, my favorite tool for squaring up blocks, is the square rulers from Creative Grids. These make it super easy. Okay, our first block we're going to square up is a 4-patch, and we're going to square it up to 8 inches. Now, you'll notice that the ruler, we're going to use the white numbers for the whole numbers, and then it has a diagonal line across the center. So when you're squaring up a square, you can find the center on your ruler, like here at the 4, and you can place that point directly on the center of your block. Then go your crosshairs from there and put them on the seams to get your block straight. Okay, then what I do is I look to make sure that I've got fabric outside of my 8-inch line on both sides, and so it'll be nice and even. So what I'm going to do first is cut down the side. Make sure I don't move. Okay. And then across the top. It's going to slide on me because I'm not used to cutting this way. Okay, so we reposition that and double check it. We've got our crosshairs on the seam at 4 inches and the center point right at 4 inches. Now what I would do is take that 90-degree cut and turn it 180 degrees so that it's down in the lower left-hand corner. So now I take my ruler, and from that corner I'm going to place it directly on the 8-inch measurement of the square and put the lines directly on the edge of the block so that corner fits right into that 8-inch corner. And then I can double check that by looking back at the center, seeing that it's at the 4 and that the 4-inch marks go right on the seam. And then it's ready to cut. Take those away. And you have your 8-inch block. Now, some blocks you'll find that, say we wanted to cut this at 8 1/4, what I would do is I would put the center mark in position with the crosshairs, which in this case the center would be at 4 1/8, and then you can just look around your edges at the 8 1/4 to see if it fits, where this one is much too small for 4 1/4, so you'd have to readjust and pick a different size. Okay, now the next block we're going to look at is a half square triangle. Now with the half square triangle, it's a little different. As with the half square triangle, what I'm going to use is the diagonal line directly on the ruler, and I want to square this one up at 4 inches. So the first thing I'm going to do is put that diagonal line right on that diagonal seam, and then I'm going to check all around the edges to make sure that my 4 inches is on there. Sometimes you have to maneuver a little bit, either up and down or side to side, to get it positioned on that diagonal correctly so that you can make a full cut. Okay, so we're going to cut here. Okay. And then we turn it 180 degrees so the upper right hand corner now becomes the lower left hand corner. Now we can place that corner in the 4-inch corner. You got your 4 inches coming down and across, and put the diagonal seam on the diagonal line, and then double check to make sure that your edges are lined up with your lines. And then just cut. And take that away. And then you can double check it and make sure that your block is straight with all lines, both the up and across and the diagonal. Now the last block that I have here is quarter patch? Not sure. So now on this one we've got 2 diagonal lines, and this one, let's say I wanted to square up this one at 3 4/4 or 3 3/4. And so what I'm going to do is put it on the diagonal line going across this way, and then if I look all around at 3 3/4, I can see that I've got plenty of fabric here, a little, not enough there or there, and not enough down here. And it's enough that I could probably make it work, but what I'm going to choose to do instead is go to 3 1/2 inches. So half of 3 1/2 would be 1 3/4. So I move the 1 3/4 diagonal mark to the center of the seams. And then what I'm going to do is look around at the 3 1/2 and the corners of the 3 1/2 to make sure that my seams go into the corners. This one is kind of off and this one is kind of off, so I'm just going to try adjusting it a little bit, where this is going to move from the center, but when I go to line this block up to sew it again, my corners will match. My seams will match in the corners because they'll be cut right on the corners. Okay, and then once again we're going to flip it from the upper right hand corner to the lower left hand corner. And then I can just line up that corner in the 3 1/2 on the diagonal. 3 1/2 coming out and 3 1/2 going across. And it fits at 3 1/2. There we have it. So thanks for watching. That's how I square up a block.